we are in the Dublin mountains near Rathfarnham, and we have views right across Dublin city, so you're looking right over to Howth and the Pigeon Towers and everything beyond. So you've got a great view over the city, but yet we're kind of really in the countryside here. So we're on the side of the hill, so good exercise when you come here to pick your Christmas tree. So we have a Christmas tree farm, and we welcome hundreds of families every year to come and find the perfect Christmas tree. In the springtime, you're replanting everywhere you've kind of cut a Christmas tree at harvesting time, you're replanting. We replant with saplings, so we don't replant with seed. We take them as maybe 2-year-old saplings because they have a much better chance of survival, and then they take about 10 years to grow. Over the summertime then, you're doing some pruning. You know, the perfect Christmas tree shape doesn't just magically happen. You do need to put a bit of work into them. So that kind of work is happening over the summertime, and of course you're keeping an eye out at that point for insects that could damage the trees as well. So there's a good bit of care required over the heavy growth summer period, and then you're harvesting then at this time of the year. So kind of we open generally around the end of November, and we're cutting to demand. So when somebody comes and picks a tree, we're cutting. We don't do wholesale. We're not doing big fells of trees and then sending them out. It's just cutting for each person who'd like to cut a tree. And so our work really kind of starts September, just planning and getting organised for the busy season ahead. And once Halloween is over, then it's full tilt into Christmas mode for us. As I said, we generally open around the end of November. We get a great crew of elves to come in and help us spread as much festive cheer as we can. And we've got people working in the forest, guys helping with netting and trimming and loading trees onto cars, and then a great team of people welcoming and little hot drinks. We also do the handmade wreaths here, and we get some people to come along and help us to make them too. We can use an abundance of our local materials here. Holly, pine cones, ivy, obviously the natural foliage from the trees as well. Yes, we try to make as much use as we can of the natural resources we have here. So we've about 10 acres of growing Christmas trees here. We have some long-term forestry as well, but we've about 10 acres of growing Christmas trees, and there's thousands. We've thousands of trees planted. You know, as we were walking through the forest there, you saw they're all at different stages of growth. As I mentioned, it takes about 10 years for them to grow. We're growing kind of 3 main species here. The Nordman fir, which is by far the most popular Christmas tree in Ireland. It's the really full bushy one, non-shed, that everybody loves, the perfect Christmas tree shape of. We have the noble fir, which is a little bit more gappy, but it has lovely strong branches and a lovely fragrance. And then we're also growing the Lasiocarpal and the Korean fir. They're new species to us. We haven't harvested many of them yet, and we're seeing what customer appetite for them is like. And every year then, in terms of cutting, again, you know, we're cutting based on demand, but demand is continually increasing. So we're cutting hundreds of trees every year. If we think about like what growing trees is doing for us, you know, people sometimes will talk about deforestation with Christmas trees. It's not that at all, because you've got to think about them as a crop. You know, if we weren't using Christmas trees and bringing real Christmas trees into our homes at Christmas time, we wouldn't be growing them. And while they're growing, every acre of growing Christmas trees is providing fresh air for 18 people per acre. So that's a lot of fresh air that we're providing. So obviously the trees are absorbing the bad carbon dioxide, and then they're releasing fresh oxygen. So, you know, when you come up here, I know it's a bit higher and a bit colder, but the air is definitely fresher because it's clean. It's very clean up here. So it's doing a really good job while the trees are growing. And then when we cut the trees, you know, the important things I think are that you're not going too far to pick your Christmas tree, and that you're fully recycling it after you've used it. So that you're, you know, mulching it down, cutting the branches, putting them in a compost heap, using the wood maybe for something, you might burn it in your stove. But the recycling of the tree is really, really important to really get the full benefits from an environmental perspective. In terms of why a real tree is better than an artificial tree, so if we think about where the artificial tree is coming from, it's generally coming from a factory in Asia, 8,000 kilometres away, coming on a ship fueled with oil. But it's also made from fossil fuels. So they're generally PVC or PE. They're often mixed materials. So, you know, you might have metal, the branches might be made of something different. So the fact that they're mixed metals, they can't be recycled. They can be brought to landfill, of course, after 10, 20 years, whatever. But unfortunately, they're never going to decompose. They are going to stay there forever. So, you know, the benefits with the real Christmas tree, grown here in Ireland, supporting Irish jobs, the Irish industry, cleaning our environment for us, and fully recyclable versus supporting an industry somewhere else, and unfortunately we're going to have to live with them in landfill forever. Every year we see new people coming who've never had a real tree before, and it's so exciting to be part of their first experience picking a real Christmas tree, and hope we can make a tradition for them as well.